To the Rugby Connection podcast by the fans for the fans. Now, we've just had a very, very entertaining week of European rugby and more, but we will introduce Murray.
Hello.
And Cam. We haven't got Cam.
No, Cam's not well this week, so
he's got COVID, and it's probably a little bit of embarrassment from today's game, which we will get onto later. But should we start with the Challenge Cup?
Yeah, let's go. Let's get a Challenge Cup.
Right. So just to round up the scores, on the Friday night, we had 3 games. Glasgow drew 19 all to Bath. Bristol won 33-19 to Perpignan. Toulouse won 14-5 at Zebre. On the Saturday, Scarlets beat Bayonne in their backyard 20-7. Benetton, very narrowly beat Stade Francais 35-32, cementing their position as the best team in the world. Brive somehow beat Cardiff 37-24. Newcastle gave Connacht a bit of a shock, 35-21, in a game where Connacht were wearing white and black and Newcastle wearing green. So a bit of a strange one there. But on the Sunday today, actually, on the day of recording, Lions just edged Dragons 30-25, and Cheetahs beat Pau 9-6.
Yes, very rollercoaster of scoring.
There are definitely some odd games, but we'll go over a few in very brief. Well, I say brief. Let's go for brief first, I guess. It
worked. We ripped them off enough for them to prove us wrong. A BP win.
Did you see this game? Because
no,
because I can't think what went wrong for Cardiff to lose to Brave.
I don't know. We all wrote it off. We all were making ludicrous scores last week.
Oh, horribly, and I feel awful for it. But I also don't, because it's kind of funny looking back on it now.
It's even funnier now that we were, Cardiff's going to put 70 on them and then get...
Yeah, exactly.
And it wasn't even a moral win. It was a very convincing win for Brave.
It was. I mean, looking at the Cardiff way of things, Priestland got most of the scores anyway. He converted 4 from 4 kicks plus a try of his own, with both them and Harry's getting other tries. Williams going off in a yellow card. And that's really all it was for Cardiff. It was just an absolute flurry of scores from beginning to end for Brave. So, you know what? Fair play to Brave. And you know what? They've actually qualified for the playoffs.
Yeah, round 16 playoffs is weird because we can't go into the now because we have to tell you Champions Cup results first because some teams from Champions Cups...
exactly. It all works. It all works out somehow. But we'll leave that. On the Friday night, Glasgow Bath 19 all. Again,
that was a fun game. That was actually I watched that in full. It was very fun.
It seemed like a bit of a fun game. I mean, there were not cards galore in the second half, but 3 cards in the second half.
Bath ruined it. I don't know who was on commentary, but they made it crystal. So Glasgow went down to 14 men with 6 minutes to go, and you're like, right, Bath's now got this. They've got the man advantage. Sorry, my throat's really sore. And then
we'll get on to that.
90 seconds into Glasgow going a man down, the replacement second row for Bath, I can't remember his name, just came round the side, unhinged off the maul, right in front of the ref, clear as day, comes round, yellow card.
Yeah, Ellis, was it?
Stupid. Also, Matt Ferguson's try to open the scoring was beautiful. He just run through everyone.
Bloody hell, what a guy! What a guy! Another game I probably want to talk about just quickly. I want to brief over just 2 more. Newcastle beating Connacht. Now we were all convinced that Connacht would win.
Is that because we've all got a soft spot for Connacht, or
it probably is?
But
but Newcastle take they took away a bonus point win.
yeah, fair play though. I mean, like you said it in the introduction, Connor had black and white on.
Yeah, this seems so well. To be fair, a green team did win, which we all predicted. So yeah, we can put it like that. Which actually, strangely enough, spoiler alert again for the standings, but Newcastle still didn't qualify.
That is so bizarre.
The Challenge Cup has been so strange. I mean,
in a world where Newcastle haven't advanced yet, Brive have.
Yeah, no, it almost feels wrong. But I mean, one shout out goes to Finley Beelum for a hat trick as well, which is kind of crazy. But I want to glance over one more game, which is Benetton Stade Francais. First of all, a tough scoreline.
That was brutal.
By 3 points. To be honest, if it wasn't for the 2 yellow cards at the end of the game, I would have thought Stade could have snatched it. But they went 13 men down with 4 minutes to go, and you kind of think to yourself, that's kind of ruined it, hasn't it?
It's always the same. I mean, there's another game in the Champions Cup where it was just a lot of cards in a very quick succession, and it just killed any chance.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Spoiler alert again. They both go through on this. I don't think the game had much significance on the.
I think it was more who gets home, who gets
I think it was more for progression, but it's a strange one. But Bellini with 2 tries for Benetton as well. Just about works out.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say on the Challenge Cup this week. I don't know if you want to bring any more games into it.
No, I've had enough there.
No, of course. So we'll quickly just go over the progression, and we'll go over the teams who progressed and the teams who haven't. So in Group A, Bristol first, Toulon second, Glasgow third, Cardiff fourth, Connacht fifth, and Brive in sixth. They all go through. And just looking out in Group A are Newcastle, Bath, Perpignan, and Zebre.
Some big teams missing out.
There are Newcastle and Bath. Well, actually, Bath for me, I thought they could have made it through, but strange one. And then from Group B, Scarlets, Benetton, Lions, Stade Francais, Dragons, and Cheetahs all go through. Pau and Bayonne are dumped out.
Oh no, I'm gutted.
Yeah, but that is the end of the Challenge Cup group stages. Now we'll quickly move on to the Champions Cup.
I
think we've both got a bit to say about results in this week, but we'll quickly move on to it. So, big games on Friday night. I'll do the less exciting one first. Lyon beat Bulls 31-7.
Bulls just don't travel well. End of.
And then Ospreys go to Leicester's backyard and beat them by a single point, 27-26.
Yes, but not in a normal amount of time. They did it in football time. They did it in the 92nd minute.
Yeah, this is like some FIFA World Cup stuff. This is not normal.
And you couldn't have written it any better when former Leicester Tiger Owen Williams slotted the winning kick for the Ospreys.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's you love it though. You love the whole, because I was thinking about this. Leicester were winning, obviously, for the most part. Ospreys must have had the ball for over 15 minutes without making a single mistake. So fair play to them for that.
No, fair enough.
I'm kind of giving away a spoiler for who goes through here, but it's the first time in 13 years that Ospreys have went to the knockout stages in the
Wow.
Been a while. I didn't think it was that long.
I didn't think it was that long. Wow. I mean, I guess with the new system, it is a bit easier to qualify, in my opinion. But
it's strange. It's when you read it on paper, there's a big, massive group. So to me, that looks like, we all have to play them. You don't. You pick 2 random teams.
Yeah, you pick 2 randomers, and like 8 of you somehow go through.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. But anyway, we'll go on to we've covered that game now, so we'll go on to Saturday's action. La Rochelle beat Northampton Saints at Franklin's Gardens 31-13. Harlequins get the better of Sharks 39-29. Cam's not here because he's too embarrassed. We can confirm actually the bet we made last week.
Yeah.
We made a bet last week where the loser had to buy the other team's jersey, and I thought Cam was just going to go for a little nice Quinn shirt, just on eBay, not too much. He spent big money on it.
Yeah.
He spent some good money. I respect to him, but I would not have the absolute kahunas.
I wouldn't buy full price on a wager. Absolutely not.
No, of course not. I mean, like if it was a new Quinn's kit for me, well, not this season's obviously, it's horrible, but let's say next season's kit's nicer. Yes, I would debate buying it at full price when it comes out. But he's paying for a 2-3-year-old Quinn's kit. The team he doesn't even support, and basically play it.
That one is it not that one?
Yeah, and he's paying a fair bit of price for it. It's fair play to him, but anyway, Leinster absolutely wrecked Rasting 36-10 at the Aviva.
It was weird. Sorry, that game was so bizarre because it was very close for about 55, 60 minutes.
Well, Christian, their last actual score was a Christian Wade try in the 48th, and then they kind of just went absolute beast.
Yeah, it's like they just had those extra gears just hiding behind. Gary Ringrose's offload to Jimmy O'Brien.
Oh, mate, that was stuff of dreams.
So good.
Hugo Keenan had a game as well. If I'm brutally honest.
Yeah. I mean, Leinster just. I know we all bash Leinster because we like to see them eventually get beat, but they are
so good.
Yeah, so good.
They are incredible. And it was also nice to see Christian Wade back on the rugby pitch, kind of doing what he does best as well.
And Finn Russell set it up, so we're all happy.
Next game, Gloucester beat Bordeaux 26-17. Exeter Chiefs absolutely batter Castres 40-3. Stormers get the better of Claremont 30-16. Ulster get past Sale 22-11. London Irish bottle a half-time lead and draw to Montpellier 21-21. Stade Toulouse just get over the line against Munster 2016, and Edinburgh take it to Saracens 20-14. Listen, if there's any game we're going to talk about in this, it's probably going to be that one. So take it away as you like.
I mean, it should have been actually more. We should have had them a lot more. I mean, there was a time where Saracens went down to 13 men. Jamie George got yellow carded. Marco Riccioni got yellow carded for the stupidest thing twice. They both jumped it like Bill Mata and Grant Gilchrist, who are not smallest players, and got absolutely flatlined. But what a win for the boys. I've barely got my voice back. It feels very croaky and very sore when I'm speaking. I loved every minute of it, and actually I will give a shout out to some of the Saracens boys after the game. Harv, you've been to the dam, you get the big barrier.
Yes.
I met Marco Vanapola, lovely bloke. Can't say the same about Billy, but anyway. Jamie George, great lad, great laugh. Sean Maitland, but he's Scottish, kind of Scottish anyway. And friend of the show, Andy Christie, got a photo with Andy, and then got the Edinburgh boys, Henry Moment, and man of the match, Shoo.
That's not too bad then. It's not too bad. I mean, a big win for Edinburgh, I have to say. Fair play to them. Although I do have to ask, was there a lot of pressure to get that last score before your fella kicked it out, or because
it was weird.
You've qualified, but you've used home advantage.
Yeah. So if we kept it in and kind of tried to get a penalty and get a kick and goal, obviously then you have to try and think, does that kick go in? We would have got a home and tie in the round of 16. But you know what? I didn't even think of it then. And I'm not even dwelling on it now. I don't care. We beat Saracens at home. Not many people could do that this season. We're advanced to the knockout stages. I'm happy. And considering the injuries Edinburgh have been hit with in the last month and a half, and go out and beat arguably one of the best sides in European rugby, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
so
fair play. I mean, you've got an incredible back three, which is
it wasn't even the main back three that done it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you beat Saracens with that. Fair play. I do. I just do want to make a few mentions. I'm not going to go probably in depth about any more games,
Okay.
but I do want to make a few mentions. First of all, in the Gloucester Bordeaux game, George McGuigan, who
Yeah. Your favourite hooker.
I don't know. I don't know what he does. He scored a brace and then hit a 50-22 as a hooker.
I'm starting to think he's not a hooker. I think he's
one of those pocket knife players. You know what I mean? He can just you slot him in any number, he'd do a job.
Yeah, that's freak. It's on Newcastle. I know he's at Gloucester now, but George McGuigan and you've got Jamie Blomire who kind of all chop and chip. I don't know what they do up there, but fair play to them.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy enough. I'll make a quick mention in the Stade de Lausanne game against Munster.
Because it was on right before the Edinburgh game. You could see it in the clubhouse.
Yeah. Munster were leading up until they were leading up until the 60th minute. Gamanet with two penalties and Ben Healy with a yellow card probably killed it.
Come on.
He's coming into the Scotland camp, which is so much crazy to think. But he's kind of shot. I'm not saying shone from boot, but he's got a decent kick on him, so he might bring something there.
Just want to touch on. It's not even about the game. It's just about this mad 5 minutes from the Exeter Cast game.
Go for it.
35 minutes in, Cast get a yellow card. Right, fine, it happens. 2 minutes later, Cast get a red card. Oh dear. And then 90 seconds after a red card, they get another yellow card. They go down to 12 men. I'm like, and I said this last week to you and Cam. Cast's fitness for a professional team is shite. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's horrible. I remember. I think we played against them last year, Quins. They were one of our games actually, one of our group stage games, and they just flailed in the last however many minutes. That's where we won the game. We didn't even play that great, but we just beat them on pure fitness.
That's what Edinburgh did last week. It was very shaky, and then about half an hour to go. Oh, actually, we're fitter than you. So
yeah, exactly. Fair play. But yeah, that was the European Champions Cup. Anyway, so we'll look at the final standings. Going through from Group A, Leinster first, Exeter Chiefs second, Sharks third, Saracens fourth, Edinburgh fifth, Harlequins sixth, Bulls seventh, and Gloucester eighth. They all go through to the knockout rounds. And into the Challenge Cup from that group are Lyon and Racing. Racing, very strange. They did have Leinster as one of their games, to be fair.
Oh, but surely Racing should win the Challenge Cup.
They should do. They really should do. But we've seen stranger things. And going home are Bordeaux and Castres from that group. From Group B, La Rochelle first, Toulouse second, Stormers third, Leicester fourth, Ospreys fifth, Munster sixth, Montpellier seventh, and Ulster eighth. Going through to the Challenge Cup, we have Clermont in ninth and Sale Sharks in 10th.
Sale Sharks were so weird because they were up and running from the word go and then just dipped off. It's they had that one really good performance and then.
Who even knows at this point? Going home are two English teams, London Irish and Northampton Saints. It's a weird and strange prospect. But anyway, let's now look at the draw for the next round. I'm not sure technically it's already been made, but we'll quickly just have a look. So for the Challenge Cup, sorry, I accidentally went into the Champions Cup there. So yeah, for the Challenge Cup, I actually it's not giving me it.
I can't remember off by heart. I know Glasgow are hosting the Dragons.
I think it's a bit of a strange one there.
You need to go on Instagram. It's there.
It's there. I'll quickly just check in a second, but I'll go over the Champions Cup. Sorry, we've had a bit of a technical issue with this one. Right, so here are the round of 16. So Leinster host Ulster.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Leicester host Edinburgh.
Come on.
That's going to be a weird one, I reckon.
I mean, go for it now because they've not done well. I know Welford Road's still a fortress.
It is what it is. Stad host the Bulls.
Oh,
Sharks host Munster.
sorry, Monster.
Exeter host Montpellier.
Yeah, I'm quite comfy with that. Yeah,
It's kind of a farewell game for a lot of players for Exeter. You know, heading over.
it's almost like a meet cute thing.
Yeah, it's like what's it? Icebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stormers host Quins. La Rochelle host Gloucester, and Saracens host the Ospreys.
There is some really good fixtures in that.
I would like to see how Sharks Monster fares up anyway. But I've got the Challenge Cup here. Sorry for the delay. Right. So we have two Lon Cheetahs.
Okay.
Glasgow versus the Dragons. Cardiff versus Sale Sharks. Bristol versus Clermont. Stade Francais versus Lyon. Lions hosting Racing. Benetton with Connacht, and Scarlets with Brive.
I'm actually very excited to see Racing down in South Africa.
Same. That feels so. It does feel strange. I mean, who are they? Yeah, they had both Quins and Leinster.
Yeah, so they were proper European rugby.
Yeah, exactly. Benetton Connacht excites me from a personal point of view.
It's just it's everyone's favourites.
Yeah, exactly. But I reckon it'll be an enticing fixture anyway. But next week we are back to normality.
Just for the 1 week, and then it's all guns blazing after that.
Exactly. So should we go for some? Let's go for some predictions. Why not?
Why not?
I've got Premiership here first.
Okay.
Friday night, Sale host Bath.
I want Bath. I'd like to see Bath get a win. Bath by 5.
I still think Sale. I know obviously they've just had a bit of a shocker in Europe, but
but Premiership Sharks too.
Premiership Sharks are Sale by 15.
Ouch. Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Leicester host Northampton, the derby, on Saturday.
Who hosts Northampton? Sorry.
Leicester, the derby.
All right, yeah. Tigers by 8.
I'll probably go similar scoreline. I'm gonna say Tigers by 9. Like Northampton haven't come in good form.
That's very valid point.
Saracens host Bristol. Would have been quite a tasty game a few years ago, but
let it be Bristol. It won't be. It'll be Saracens by 25.
It's going to be Bristol by 50.
Good luck, Bristol. You've got a pissed off Saracens now. So
yeah, no, it's not going to go for well for them. But I'm just going to say Bristol by 50 and just like plead the fifth.
Fingers crossed.
Exeter host Gloucester.
Exeter by 10.
It's a bit strange because I want to go Gloucester because I've liked the look of them, and I don't know why.
They're a good team, but you back your team. And
that's fair. I just be different. I'm gonna say Gloucester by 5.
I could see it happening.
And then Irish host Quins.
Yeah.
This is exciting. I was thinking, should I go to this game? No, I can't.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can.
I've spent enough money, Murray. But I'm gonna. If I'm watching on TV, I would want Quins to win by. We need a kickstart in the Premiership. Like we've lost our last 3 Premiership matches.
Yeah, you have. That's been a very weird time.
To quote whoever it was, it's not looking good, Brev. So I don't know who even that was, but I don't know. I'd say we can beat. I'd say we can beat Irish by. I'm gonna say 12, but it's gonna be like a.
Are you available to go to the game? I don't mean funding wise.
No, probably not. I'm actually working. I think.
Oh, I was gonna try and maybe speak to one of our friends of the show.
I'm very sorry. You're gonna have to another time if that's all right.
That's fine.
But yeah, no, Quins by 12, but London Irish will be like leading at like half time by a fair amount.
But yeah, I like that. I think it's gonna be like Quins by 6.
But we turn it around.
Yeah, nice little turnaround in London Irish.
That's probably just more in London Irish style. Anyway, we'll move on to the URC.
There's some good fixtures next week.
First of all, we'll start off 2 Friday night games. We've got Scarlets versus Bulls.
Scarlets, because Bulls don't travel well.
Nah,
Scarlets by 9. I'm trying to think of the number I didn't say.
Scarlets by 13, yeah. Ulster hosts the Stormers.
Stormers, because all the big boys will be away because it's a week before the Six Nations.
Fair enough. I like your thinking, but
Stormers by 10, 11. Fuck it, 11. Yeah.
Purely because I don't like them, I'm going to go Stormers by 7.
Actually, I'm now on the hatred with you and Cam because it's still day of yours. So
exactly, yeah. Right, Saturday we've got Benetton hosting Munster.
Munster, because Munster have better depth.
Fair enough. I'd probably also go. My Benetton reliance has to come out here one of these days. I'm going to go Munster by 10.
We'll go Munster by 6.
Ooh. Dragons host Glasgow.
Glasgow are on. I don't know what they're doing at Scotstoun, but it's working a treat.
It is at the Dragons though. It's not a home game for Glasgow.
If it's Dragons.
It is to be fair. Glasgow by
14.
14. Yeah. Ooh, that's cute. Right. Leinster host Cardiff at the RDS. Goodbye, Cardiff. Leinster by 30 at least. On a bad day.
The Leinster young boys by 30. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A player like with Hugo Keane and Johnny Sexton all the way. Like it's going to be. We'll talk it down to 30.
I'll go 32. Nice round number.
Wow. Edinburgh hosts the Sharks, another RCP derby in 2 weeks.
Edinburgh, back your team. I mean, I'm sceptical. Realistic. I am sceptical because, again, like I said, all the boys will be away to the training camp for national team, and South Africa don't have anything coming up. So, and like even Elizabeth, Khaleesi, Mapimpi, and all that's going to be in Edinburgh. So that's fun. But the Dam is a fortress on its day.
I was going to say, the last 3 games that Sharks played away, they've lost 2, and it's the most recent 2. So I might give the edge to Edinburgh, but only by a bit. Like I'm going to go Edinburgh by 3.
I'll take Edinburgh by 4. But I'll take it. I don't.
Saturday night we've got Connacht versus Lions.
Go on, Connacht. God.
Oh man. Connacht by
8.
12.
Fair, yeah, go for it.
And then Zebra host Ospreys. Ospreys by 2. Don't know what it is.
Ospreys by 19.
Every time I've seen Zebra play at home, they've made it close without it actually being like a close scored line.
Yeah, it's like a good 10 minutes for them, and that's it. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Well, not even a good 10 minutes. They just fight hard and then don't come away with it. But yeah, they're still going to lose. But we don't have.
I feel quite comfortable with Ospreys because of recent performance. So I'll say Ospreys by 19.
Look, fair enough. Anyway, so now we've got a bit of time to talk about the rest of the world of rugby, and especially because the RFU has made the headlines in the week.
No, that's not what I thought you were going to mention.
So the RFU has announced that its new community rugby guidelines that tackles are not allowed above waist height. Anything above waist height would be given as a high tackle. Now, I think they did this with the ball carrier in mind. Obviously, if you lower yourself, then you're less likely to be upwards and therefore less contact to the head. However, you don't think about the tackler taking a knee to the face or something, or contact from someone's legs. You don't think about refereeing, how bad it's going to be to govern that. I mean, the referee has to make a decision in his head. Do I let the game go on and let so many high tackles away? Which is a serious thing, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Or do I just keep on handing out penalties and ruin the game? So it's a headache for referees. It's a headache for anyone defence. It's kind of just going to open up and become, It
was a big debate on our group chat anyway.
It was a big debate, and I saw actually, and I've sent it to you there. A video by Lauren Guilfoyle, who's a physiotherapist down in Cork, and she went through two studies, one of which was on the Championship Cup back in 2018, 2019, and the first 6 games of the season, they had the high tackle at shoulder height, which is what it was.
Yeah.
Then they moved it down to armpit height for the next 6 games, then back up to shoulder height for the last 6 games.
Okay.
Now, when the high tackle was at shoulder height, the result came back as 16.9 concussions per 1,000 minutes.
It's not a lot of minutes, right? Okay.
When it was down at armpit height, it was 22.2 concussions per 1,000 minutes. Now, the results didn't come back statistically significant. However, the numbers do show at least something.
It's a strange one because the reason when it came out, so I got a lot of messages during the week because I do a fun Q&A on Instagram when I can be bothered. And somebody asked what I thought of it, and I was like, I'm all for it because I said it to you last week, and I said it in the chat as well, that like when I first learned how to play rugby, you get taught to go low. It's like eye to thigh, cheek to like cheek, and then like band of steel.
That's how we learned it.
Yeah. So that's so I didn't read into it. That's how I seen it. I was like, great, that's how it should be. But then obviously a lot of players, professional players, like came vocal, including Ollie Hoskins, who we've had on.
Yeah, who was actually in that Championship Cup season.
He was very vocal about it, and yeah, it's becoming crystal clear that the lower players get their heads always in stupider places. I don't know why. That's obviously just people not tackling properly, which is what it comes down to. If you tackle properly, you won't get concussion. Or shouldn't get concussion. But yeah, it's stupid. There's no winning because player safety is the main thing. You don't want to knock someone's head off, but you also don't want to take a big knee into your face from a guy that's like 6'8", 130 kilos. You don't want that.
No, of course not. And I think, especially, we're talking community rugby here, actually, first of all, where...
Yeah, it won't happen in the profession.
No, it won't happen to professional, I don't think. And especially in the community game, I know a lot of people who have, I've read about a lot of people who are kind of even reconsidering playing rugby at this point, because I don't think you can't go into a tackle that scared. You do go into a tackle with confidence, but
the minute you're scared to tackle someone, rugby's not for you. I mean that just in general. I don't mean because of these.
No, of course not. Yeah, but I think a lot of people are being put into that position now, knowing that there's a higher risk of them coming off worse.
It's a strange one because, like I've just said, like player safety on all lines is important. But, like, yes, go lower. But then you've also need to try and sort that.
No, of course. But I think there's a few other ways that they might be able to start. And I think there's other ways they've got to start and looking. If they've trolled it before and it's not worked, Well, actually, it didn't work at armpit length. You know, when they force you to go waist length, you know that's even more, I think, dangerous anyway.
I'm going to say something, right? And there's nothing even about this. It just sounds very vague when I'm going to say it. If you hit someone here, you're an idiot. If you hit them here, well done you.
Yeah.
And if you can catch them on their shoelaces, even better. But again, it's all how you go into it, and I don't know. I'm not. There's a lot.
I don't know. There are a lot of factors that go into it, and but I would say, you know, I've read into it a lot, and you know, just sports science studies anyway. I think the cons outweigh the pros at least. There are pros, and don't get me wrong, they are doing it for a good cause. However, I think the cons outweigh the pros.
If the cons outweigh the pros, obviously you've done a lot more research than I have. I've even admitted that myself, that I didn't proper read into it. I said, cool, yeah, it makes sense to go lower. If the cons outweigh the pros, then it's not worth it. But no, we'll go into a bit more wacky news.
We'll go into a bit more wacky news. Well, I won't say wacky because Sevens was on this weekend.
Sevens was on this weekend, yes.
I completely forgot because it was European weekend, and you know how I love my what used to be European weekend.
Stop! He's not here. It's fine.
However, Argentina took the W in was it Hamilton?
New Zealand.
They beat New Zealand 14-12 in the final with with USA beating France 15-14 for the third place.
Blackfern's got one on home soil though. I've seen that.
No, yeah, fair play to them. In the fifth place was Australia, Ireland in sixth. Seventh and eighth went to South Africa and Fiji. For the Great Britain boys, we finished in either 11th or 12th.
What about the girls?
The girls, I think they might have done. Oh, they didn't do much better than us, if I'm brutally honest. No, they came fifth.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. So well done, the girls, lads. A bit shameful, aren't you?
Yeah. Take your game up.
Anyway, but Murray, obviously, Cam started last week. He's obviously not here, but I want you to give me a random game from the rugby world as your random game of the week.
The Saracens women in the Premier 15s put 60 on the Worcester Warriors.
Wow.
61-20, I think the score was.
Bloody hell.
Just, they were angry about last week. And yeah, it was, oh God.
But anyway, my random game of the week goes to the Spanish Division de Honor, where Barcelona, the same franchise who run the football team, beat Les Abayas 28-27 with a last-minute try from Alegria Haynes. Now, what does this mean for the league? Barcelona go to fifth. They've still got a game in hand, which could propel them further up in the playoffs. And Les Abayas are sitting 10th. So it doesn't mean too much for the league, but a last-minute try, you do love to see it.
Everyone loves it. Unless it's against your team.
Unless it's against your team. But you know what we don't love to see? The end of this podcast.
I mean, one, just quickly, because we're chucking out there, because it was announced today, and it was actually you that sent me, Harv. So
it was, sorry.
That you've not.
But do you want to announce it or should I?
I'll let you do it.
Well, I quite like the team. Anyway, so the Highlanders of Super Rugby Pacific have just signed Freddie Burns on an early release from his Leicester contract.
Yes.
Very, very strange. I can't think, to be honest, of who's actually playing 10 for Highlanders these days.
Just think, we're going to get, in Super Rugby, you're going to get Aaron Smith and Freddie Burns.
That's going to be incredible. Well, an incredible drinking team, especially, yeah.
Oh, yeah, on the socials.
Anything like the antics of Freddie Burns after the Premiership, like going around in dungarees and Thatchers, I'd be all for that. Sign me up for Highlanders. Definitely. I won't play. I'll just drink. But anyway,
we had to mention that Burns is now Super Rugby.
I was trying to find an awful link to that. But you know what? We won't be doing for. I don't know. Unfortunately, the podcast has come to an end for tonight. We will be back, obviously, next week with back to the domestic leagues before we head to
the big one.
The big one. That's our nations, where we are going to bring you some big things. I mean, obviously, you've got me, Murray, Cam, but
I'm going to leave it to our lovely viewers to decide who Cam has to support. Because we said Wales because
he lives in Wales. He lives in Carmarthen, which that should really be his team.
But his residency says Wales, but
he was
are English.
He was adamant that he should support Italy.
He really didn't want to support Wales. I don't know why.
I wouldn't want to either. I know my jersey says something different, but I wouldn't want to support Wales.
Anyway, we'll let you decide.
You know what we wouldn't want to do? End this podcast. So thank you very, very much for listening. I hope you've all had a lovely 40 minutes with us. I do hope that you'll be sticking around next weekend where we can talk about more rugby. We should have Cam back, hopefully, when he's feeling just a little bit better and a little bit less embarrassed, and hopefully in his lovely spanking new Quins top. Please do follow us on all socials. We are the Rugby Connection podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and the RC Pod on Twitter. Do follow us personally on socials. We have Blissful Rugby HQ and Alan Harv on everything. And also, if you want to follow Cam, do. And yeah, we were the Rugby Connection podcast by the fans for the fans, and we will see you next week.